And also, Jonathan, I think his name, Jonathan Greenblatt of the ADL, was pushing this article to the point that made Jamaal Bowman flip. And let me read a little bit of it, of this article. The headline says, Jamaal Bowman praises speaker who celebrated October 7th Hamas attack. Embattled lawmaker appeared with anti-Israel author Norman Finkelstein at Yonkers Islamic Center last Sunday. And then it goes on to say Jamaal Bowman introduced a controversial anti-Israel scholar, Norman Finkelstein, who has accused Jews of exploiting the Holocaust to legitimize Israel's treatment of Palestinians. Let me just make a correction. So it should say who has accused Zionists, not Jews, he is a Jew, who has accused Zionists of exploiting the Holocaust to legitimize Israel's treatment of Palestinians at a panel discussion on the Israel-Hamas war last Sunday. This is a week from yesterday that this happened in Westchester County, where the congressman expressed his admiration for the what they call polarizing author and activist. And here's a quote. I'm a bit starstruck, Bowman said of Finkelstein, whose 2000 polemic, the Holocaust industry has faced allegations of promoting conspiracy theories about Jewish.
Oh, that's how you know that's how you know there was some hardcore facts in that book. That's the best endorsement you can get. If you write a book and in the establishment paper they say it's full of conspiracy theories, congratulations, you nailed it. That means anyway, let's continue.
That means you're preaching truth. Literally, that's literally in my opinion.
To be fair, I haven't read the book. To be fair, I haven't read the book, but if they say that about
I have. It's not filled with conspiracy theories. Norman Finkelstein is easily, I would say, probably the single most important voice on Israel-Palestine. He's been doing this for a very long time. Now, maybe not he's up there. He's certainly up there. George Galloway's been on it for a very long. There's a lot of people who've been doing this for a very long time. I think the fact that he is Jewish, and I've been saying this for a very long time, in my opinion, in this fight against Zionism, because don't get it twisted, that's what it is. There is nothing more powerful than the anti-Zionist Jewish voice. And Finkelstein has been one of the loudest, one of the most powerful, one of the most unashamed, unabashed. Like, he does not give a fuck. He's amazing. And so, yeah, it's
one last thing I'll say, and I'll pass to you, CJ.
Yeah, go ahead.
I told you guys, I'm a conspiracy theorist, what people will call conspiracy theorists. But conspiracy theorists are proven right over and over again.
Just spoiler alert.
Yes, the spoiler alert, as Missy says here. But think about what they say here. Conspiracy theories. You guys understand the idea of calling anyone who criticizes Israel anti-Semitic, that come from Mossad. That come from the Mossad. The idea is they're gonna obscure the criticism. They're gonna delegitimize the criticism by labeling you an anti-Semite. This is a plan laid out by Mossad to delegitimize the enemies of Israel. Yep. That's a conspiracy. Like, do people know what words mean?
Yeah.
A conspiracy is when people come together and conspire in order to achieve a gain. Now add the word theory after that. So a conspiracy theory is us having a theory of people coming together and conspiring. That is very common. Why do people pretend it's not? Do people know what words mean? So when you say that the Mossad uses anti-Semitism to shield Israel from criticism, that is a conspiracy theory, technically, but it's true. You guys see how demonizing conspiracy theory only work for the establishment? But anyway, go ahead, CJ. I want to continue. But that line irks me, and that's how you know that they view you as a threat when they start calling you a conspiracy theorist, right?
Yes. And right here. Okay, has faced allegations of promoting conspiracy theories about Jewish extortion, and the other guests who participated in the discussion at the center in Yonkers, quote, I watched them all the time on YouTube, end quote. That's what they're saying Jamaal Bowman was saying about the people that was there at the this event. Finkelstein, a political scientist who in 2007 was denied tenure at DePaul University amid charges of anti-Semitism, which he dismissed as politically motivated, has long been a divisive figure for his comments on the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. The Jewish son of Holocaust survivors has voiced support for Hezbollah, the Israel-backed militia in Lebanon, and compared Israel to Nazi Germany, among other incendiary remarks.
So he's saying he's
basically. Basically, so that's all I wanted to read of the article. Now let me show you the exchange of what happened on Twitter before I show you the last headline here. This is what happened on Twitter. So David Black, so this happens, he gets wind that, you know, Jamaal Bowman goes to this event. I don't need to show you the video because the video is really, really anticlimactic. He's just standing there and like it looks like a high school gym. So it's really anticlimactic. But Jonathan Greenblatt sees this video, and of course he is he's the arbiter of whatever is anti-Semitism. He tweets this. This is beyond the pale when Jamaal Bowman lauds a cheerleader of terrorism who brags that the 10/7 massacre, quote, warms every fiber of his soul, end quote. Sure he didn't say that. He loses his moral credibility and diminishes his voice. Now, if you're Jamaal Bowman and you are on the brink of being ousted specifically by AIPAC and they're putting up all this money and you get tagged by this guy, you know how much fear that puts into you? If you don't know how much fear, let's just go to Jamaal Bowman's tweet and you can see.
Look at that ratio, Jesus Christ. Look at that fucking ratio.
Oh, he gets destroyed. He gets destroyed.
I did not. Oh, look at that.
Destroyed.
That's a brutal for a politician, fam.
Okay, but this is also the guy who was confronted about Ukraine and was like, yeah, Putin's a madman. What's Donbass?
I remember that.
He's so fucking dumb. He is an idiot. I don't know how. Well, I do know how he got to become a congressman because we tend to elect absolute idiots. This guy has no idea. He has no idea. He was fully supporting Nazis in Ukraine because Putin's a madman, but he had no idea what Donbass was. Not a clue. What's a Donbass?
Right?
It reminded me of Gary Johnson when he did the what was it? What's Aleppo? What's Aleppo?
Yeah,
he had no idea. That's what it reminded me of.
Definitely a bone break. But go ahead, CJ.
All right, so he says this after making that. Now, if you say I am, what do you say, starstruck? In order to be starstruck, can you be starstruck about somebody you know very little about?
No.
Can you be starstruck about that?
No.
You can only be starstruck about somebody you know a lot about, but this is what he says. Jamaal Bowman says, I seen a few interviews, but was unaware of Norman Finkelstein's completely reprehensible comments before this event.
Jesus Christ.
And when he made comments on October 7th at this event, I strongly condemned his language and will always continue to do so. I apologize deeply to any of my friends and neighbors hurt by my comments and will continue to fight the scourge of anti-Semitism in our country and across the world. That is Jamaal Bowman. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Pause. Norm Finkelstein's family survived his parents survived the Holocaust. Correct me if I'm wrong.
He lost family in the Holocaust and his parents survived Warsaw.
Okay, so I didn't write his biography or anything, but I know the general story, right? So his family was victims of the Holocaust.
Yes.
That's a good way to put it. So you have people who are not Jewish, Jamaal Bowman, and others, I'm sure, that joined this crusade, that's calling a Jewish person whose family survived or were victims of the Holocaust anti-Semitic.
Yes.
Do you guys realize the insanity of Zionism? They got Christians. I don't know what Jamaal Bowman is. I'm assuming he's a Christian.
Probably Christian, at least superficially.
So we have a Christian calling a Jewish person anti-Semite because they question a genocidal country following in direction of Nazis in Germany. Do you guys realize how much Zionism broke in the brains of Americans?
Well, to be fair,
all I
though, that I think that they've completely overplayed that hand. The claims of anti-Semitism that used to work.
It's a
People would
joke.
not speak. I remember. Listen. The Israel-Palestine situation was one of the first things when I first started getting interested in politics that grabbed my attention. I've been paying attention to this for a very long time, and like years ago, people would not speak against Israel. Like I was like, it was you're kind of like a
Yes.
little ship in the middle of the
That's
ocean,
facts.
like
That's
being.
facts.
You could not talk about, and if you did, and trust me, I've been called an anti-Semite and a hater of Jews and all kinds of horrible things for a very long time, but that has completely lost its luster at this point. Now you're starting to see it. I think, Nick, you actually, maybe it was Nico, posted a video of a black woman who was like, I'm a black woman in America. You can try to call me an anti-Semite.
Nico, yeah.
That ain't playing. I'm not interested. Like, and people are now starting to see through that. That was what they hid behind. That was what they were able to, use those claims. They were able to use the Holocaust and what happened to them as a shield and to justify the occupation of Palestine, the apartheid of the Palestinian people, the genocide, the ongoing genocide. This genocide that we are all watching play out didn't start on October 7th. This has been happening for decades. It's a slow motion genocide. Their intentions have always been clear. They've never been shy. They've never been shy about what they plan to do with Palestine. And just because it's taken them this long to really set it off, that doesn't mean that that's what they've always been doing. But those claims, not you calling people an anti-Semite, it doesn't work anymore. It doesn't play anymore. People don't care. They see through it, and they're not. It's just not as effective as it used to be. And I think that that's a huge part of the reason why they're losing the PR war, because they overplayed that hand and they tried to wag their finger at people. And there's nothing anti-Semitic about calling you out on your bullshit genocide. I'm sorry. Listen, Zionism is a political ideology. Judaism is a thousands-year-old religion. The two are not the same, and it is disgusting to conflate them. It is so unbelievably disgusting to me that you are trying to hide behind the religion of Judaism to justify a genocide. And I think that, I think there's so many people now who, and especially in particular, as I said earlier, Jewish people who are so tired of their religion being used as a cover for this shit.
Yeah, we were just talking about conspiracy theories, right? I'll be real short. I'll pass to you, Caesar, real short.
Yeah, no worries.
We were just talking about conspiracy theories, right? Wasn't the guy who started this the ADL person, CJ? They're from the ADL,
Yes.
the Anti-Defamation League. The ADL is an organization that claim they're here to protect Jewish people, but they are the biggest threat to free speech among Jewish people.
Yeah.
The ADL has bragged multiple times. They can't get Norman Finkelstein fired because he don't have a manager. But you know how many Jews they got fired? So the biggest people that are censoring Jews are the ADL. They are the biggest enforcers of anti-Semitism.
Yeah.
They were engaging in anti-Semitism by attacking Norman Finkelstein the way they do because he's not loyal to Israel. That's an anti-Semitic trope to claim that all Jewish people should be loyal to Israel. That is what ADL says. So the conspiracy is ADL pretends to fight anti-Semitism. Meanwhile, they are the biggest purveyor of anti-Semitism and censoring and violence against Jewish people. But go ahead, CJ, continue.
Yeah, just wanted to give you the latest tweet in this dynamic. So he calls out Jamaal Bowman. Jamaal Bowman backpedals and prays that they don't spend all of the $100 million from AIPAC on him. And then, of course, Jonathan Blatt pats him on the head. Good boy. He says, shortly after I posted the below tweet calling out Jamaal Bowman, Bowman apologized for praising Norman Finkelstein and made it clear that he condemns Finkelstein's remarks about 10-7. I welcome this apology and hope that those who gave Finkelstein a platform will do similarly. Go ahead.
Zionists are the biggest Karens in the world. Like literally,
100%.
If you want to see the most unhinged shit online, and this exposes the right-wing populists who we've been calling out. Me and Misty, we've been calling these people out from day one. The frauds on the populist right. The ADL page is literally cancel culture summed up.
Yeah.
The entire page is them. And there's the ADL, and there's a page called Stop Anti-Semitism. I covered this.
I heard that one, yeah.
Their entire page is them bragging about getting people banned because they said wrong thing about Israel. Meanwhile, the right-wing populists who claim they're against cancel culture and identity politics like and retweet these pages. Bragging. I saw one of the middle school teacher got fired because she said free Palestine, and they went to the school board and said they hired an anti-Semite, got her fired. That was
The right has also been rightfully freaking out about child sex trafficking and Jeffrey Epstein. Who the fuck do you think he worked for? They're out here giving full-throated support to Israel and then over here freaking out about Jeffrey Epstein, not connecting those dots. Like, do you guys even do you hear what you're saying? Like the free speech thing drives me absolutely. And this is, I mean, I knew that this was true all along, but it's very frustrating to me when you realize that the lack of consistency is so frustrating. Being able to find anybody who is legitimately consistent on free speech is damn near impossible. It is damn near impossible. There's only, I mean, the number of people who are genuinely like hardcore free speech is very few, and that's sad. It's very sad.
Yeah, and I'm just going to show you a headline here because I mean, we can guess what they do in this article.
Yeah,
I
haven't read this article. I already know what they say. I promise.
Yeah, you can guess
based on this headline. I already know what they're saying.
Exactly. It's the stereotypical things you would hear from a Zionist accusing people of anti-Semitism. But let me read just a little bit of it maybe. The Hills Online show Rising falls prey to hosts anti-Israel conspiracy theories. Briahna Joy Gray denied documentation of Hamas sexual violence and accused Israel of targeting its hostages in Gaza. Go ahead if you want to chime in. Go ahead.
I didn't want to chime in too much, but there's no documentation. That's a lie.
No, there's zero documentation. In fact, they have fully admitted that we don't have anything. We have zero evidence. We have no forensics. There's nothing. There's no forensics. There's nothing. There's absolutely nothing. They have nothing. And it's and also what was the other one that they just said that she was denying? The sexual assault and what else was it at the top?
Oh, I'm sorry. Sexual assault and hostage. They're targeting
Israel is targeting hostages. We know that that's happening.
Are they denying that?
Yeah, yes. They're denying that.
They're saying that's a conspiracy theory. They're saying that's a conspiracy. Remember, conspiracy theory means truth. Conspiracy theory almost 9 out of 10 times means truth. Now listen to what they say. I'm not going to read the whole article. I'm just going to zoom in specifically on this part. Man. And it says, since the October 7th attack, the show's most high-profile host, Briahna Joy Gray, a far-left pundit.
Not far left. She is not far left.
We are her friend, but the three of us are to the left of Bree. So let's keep that clear.
She still has me blocked on Twitter.
Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah. A far left
pundit
who served. Oh God.
Yeah.
A far left pundit who served as the national secretary on Bernie Sanders' 2020 presidential campaign has repeatedly used her platform to downplay the violence, sharing commentary that some viewers have interpreted as defending Hamas's actions.
I was wrong. I knew what they were going to say, but you can't really compare yourself. I was wrong. I knew what they were going to say, but you never know how low they're really going to sink.
Yes.
Man, that's crazy.
I just wanted to read just a little bit of both to talk about what the Jewish Insider, it's just not a long segment, and we'll put the links to both articles in the chat. But the point of the segment and the two articles is that to see whether you decide to go full-throated against them or whether you try to play this progressive Democrat walk in the line, they're going to come at you the same way, just like they did in the Jewish Insider. So it begs the question for those who are progressive Democrats, why are you supporting them? Because if you say anything good about Palestinians, they're coming at you the same as if you're not supporting them.
Yeah.
So why don't you go full throat at them? It just doesn't make sense. That's my final word on the topic. We'll go to Misty and then Nick to round us out. What say you about what the Jewish Insider is doing and the differences between their targets in this segment here?
I mean, typical Hasbara, you know what I mean? This is what they do. This is exactly their, and I think that that's also something else that's been really exposed over the past couple of months is their playbook, because they have used the same playbook for decades, and it's been very effective up until now. And I think that a lot of people are starting to recognize the game that's being played and the way that they write these attack pieces. And I mean, it's so, first of all, the idea that's the same thing as calling Robert Kennedy Jr. Anti-Semite. That guy is a Zionist piece of shit. And so anybody, like, they try to pretend like he's some, and I saw somebody in the chat said that Jamaal Bowman needs to get a meeting with Rabbi Shmuley ASAP. I would be willing to bet that that's probably going to happen. I would be willing to bet we're going to see Jamaal Bowman hanging around with Rabbi Shmuley here pretty soon to rectify his image here with the Jewish people. This is not surprising. This is exactly the same playbook that they've been using. This is the exact same line of attacks that they've been using for a very long time. I think it's not. It doesn't. I don't think people are buying into it as much as they used to. And I think that the longer this continues, the more we will start to see their credibility diminish, and the more we will start to see them become a pariah state, and the more support for Palestine will grow, in my opinion.
They're in shambles. You guys realize that?
They are. So, they're scrambling. They're so, you're right. They are in shambles.
As I mentioned before, do I have to lie about what the Biden administration has done? Have I ever lied? Have I ever went on stream and like, man, the Biden administration got commandos in Thailand, like just to make it sound worse?
No.
I never had to do that because there's enough evil shit to talk about on Biden. Why I never have to lie, guys? We don't have enough time to cover shit. I had to cut 2 segments today, and we still went 3 hours. There's not enough time to cover the true shit they do for me to ever mislead you guys. How do you even have time to do that? You guys notice how they got to make up shit about Hamas? You know why? Because the Democrats, their coalition is in shambles. So they are desperate to find a way to get the far left feminists on their side. So they can't drop the Hamas rape lie. I gotta repeat myself. They can't. Because they're bleeding left support. So they have to paint Hamas as unique terrorists. If the truth is told about Hamas, they are a resistance fighter that may be flawed in some way. No one is perfect, but they're a resistant fighter fighting against the most violent, unhinged regime we've seen in decades. If the true story came out like it is internationally, Israel is dead in the water. So they are forced to destroy their integrity. Every Zionist, they are forced to lie about the Hamas rapes. They're forced to lie about the beheaded babies because that's the only way they can operate now. You can't justify their war against Hamas without demonizing Hamas as somehow worse than us, right? When we kill kids, we kill it with compassion. We feel bad. The IDF mourn for the people that they kill. Meanwhile, Hamas, they cut girls' breasts off and play with it in the street. They rape people aggressively. When they kill people in a mean way. When you're in the afterlife, you feel uncomfortable the way Hamas kill you. But at least when Joe Biden killed you, at least you know he's inclusive to the LGBT community. Like, you guys, it's an absurd premise, but it works on people. I say this all the time. This is my last thought now, and I'm done for the day. There's no rationalization to claim that Hamas is a terrorist organization over Israel or the United States.
No.
Because what are you claiming that off of? Are you claiming that they're terrorists because they waged war? Are you going down that rabbit hole? Are you claiming they're terrorists because they kill civilians? Do you want to go down that rabbit hole? They can't do that because they will implement them. So they have to do this they have to present this childlike point of view that present Hamas as waging war in a uniquely evil way. And I want you guys to think about this. Do you guys think Hamas, do you guys think Putin, do you guys think all the enemies they demonize, do you think when they kill people that it's worse than when we drop bombs on people? That's what they will have you believe. That when we kill people, it's just. When they kill people, it's not just. We have to reject that. And that's why I won't condemn people who fight against the liberation as laid out by international law.